Hey there, what's up? I'm Anthony Tresca, and welcome to this episode of Spooky Scraps, where we take a horror property, find something weird or obscure, and then we talk about that. Joining me today to talk about a tweet from Christopher Landon over Happy Death Day and Freaky is Dr. Katherine Troyer.
Hey, I'm very excited to talk about this tweet.
Yeah, let me just ask you, when you first got your PhD, did you think you would be putting it to use to talk about a tweet?
That's a good question. I don't think I did, but I also don't think I knew what I was going to do with it other than, sadness. So a tweet's better than sadness.
Yeah, tweet is definitely better than sadness. So let's talk about this tweet. It's in conjunction with our latest episode, 2020's Freaky. It's from the director-writer of that film, Christopher Landon. Somebody asked Christopher Landon on Twitter if Freaky and Happy Death Day take place in the same universe. And Christopher Landon responded, they share the same DNA, and there's a good chance Millie and Tree will bump into each other someday. Knife emoji, knife emoji.
And this is potentially exciting, right? Because you and I both very much liked Happy Death Day.
Yeah.
A little less impressed or excited by Freaky, but the potential of this crossover sounds very exciting, in theory. But what would it look like in reality?
That's what we're here to discuss today. So we have refrained from sharing our thoughts about what this potential crossover between the Happy Death Day universe, because I guess it's both films, Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You, the sequel, as well as 2020's Freaky. So we haven't talked yet. So what do you think is essential to this crossover?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think this is silly, but comedy, right? The thing that is going to make this crossover successful is the comedy is going to have to be on point.
Welcome to the Pleasure Dome.
And I think it was for Happy Death Day, but I don't think it was quite as often for Freaky. And so I think they're going to need to figure out what was it that worked so well in that original film that can be replicated in this crossover.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Along with that comedy, another element that feels pretty obvious, but I just want to say right now is definitely we've got to have the body swapping from Freaky.
I woke up in the killer's body.
As well as that kind of Groundhog Day time travel-y element from the Happy Death Day universe.
So I'm just supposed to keep dying until I figure out who my killer is?
So in my version, I think what I would like to see, I would like to see the way that gets carried over is that the character, be it Millie Tree or someone else entirely, has to work their way through all of the victims that are murdered, and so each day is a new victim, right? So there's a super high body count, and it starts out that they get killed in the first 5 seconds, right? And they're I have no clue what's happening, and then it's they're slowly working their way through. But if they run out of the 12 victims, if they get to the 12th victim and haven't solved it, then death forever. I think I'd want to see that, an entire film about the same massacre, but from all the different characters, almost like the film Crash, right? Where we're seeing it from all the different angles.
Except hopefully better than the film Crash.
Oh, that's sad. Or at least a little less, traumatic. Because that film gets a little intense in places.
Although both Happy Death Day and Freaky are clearly influenced by trauma and traumatic events. So I guess it perhaps would not be completely out of the realm of possibilities. I think I kind of like your idea of these victim, going back and forth and having to have these two people play all the victims, or potentially, and maybe in conjunction with that, there's nothing that says we have to limit the scope of this film. This could be an ambitious crossover, a big film. But I was maybe thinking maybe we have the two characters kind of switch bodies and themselves and have to live through the same day, because I really think that there's an interesting dichotomy between the two of them, because particularly with the path that Tree has been on, she's much more developed, in a much more mature place. She'd probably be a senior at this college that Millie could come into Millie's this young first year who's been really, really repressed, but now is liberated after the events of Freaky, perhaps, and they come to college, and then they are just kind of, they're living basically opposite lives, but then they switch bodies, and it's like, for Tree, it's super traumatic because, oh my god, this is what I was doing my freshman year, but now I'm an adult and moving on, and I have a serious partner, and Millie is now back and repressed in this kind of, like, domestic life that she was trying to escape. That'd be pretty freaky.
What I like about that... Yeah. Nice. What I like about that is that it also allows for, like, this idea that, like, the final girl's story isn't a singular story. So it'd be like, how do I be the final girl in somebody else's narrative? And so that would be really interesting, because then it could be that Tree, who's successfully managed to fight off Babyface or whatever, now has to figure out how to fight off this different type of killer, and vice versa. And I think that's interesting. I like that idea a lot. I think, though, we have to talk about titles, right? So is it Happy Freaky Day, Freaky Death Day, Happy Death Freaky?
I feel the most obvious title is definitely something like Freaky Death Day.
Okay.
It's I feel like that, like, if I were a very rich Hollywood producer, and I had no taste, that is the title that I think I would give to this film.
Oh, so if you had taste and were rich... Both things that we're going to say are maybe not, possibilities. What would be your title?
Happy Freaky Death Day to you? I don't know. Oh. This is a lot of pressure. This is a lot of pressure. I am clearly not up to this challenge right now. Why don't we turn this question then to people who maybe have more time? The people who are watching this video. Let us know what you think the title should be for this crossover. Let us know what you want to see, the title, who are you bringing back, what elements are you keeping from the films, what are you throwing away. Just get really creative. There's no bad ideas.
This is true.
So, give us a like, subscribe, and as always, thank you for listening.
And have a spectacular
day.